Hello, my name is Juan Mejia, and I am going to talk to you about my school field experience, my observation hours. Um, Most of my hours were spent at Paramount Park Middle School, which is a middle school located in the city of Paramount Unified School District. Um, me Briefly, Paramount Park is a learning institution that provides its students with the most current resources and instructional strategies to help develop independent learners. Paramount Park School is a standards-based school committed to student achievement in both district and state standards. The Paramount Unified School District continues to support all its schools with research-based practices, innovations, and the professional development necessary to move all stakeholders forward. Um, the instructor I got to observe, his name is Mr. Samora and teaches sixth grade physical education. Um, when I asked Mr. Zamora what his teaching style was, this is what he said. He said, "I don't know how you would apply it to physical education, but I am like a player's coach. I take students' input into consideration and make modifications. But this does not mean that they run the class. The class is structured and modified to fit and meet students' needs." Um, while observing Mr. Samora, I learned a lot of different ways to adapt depending on the circumstance or situation. He handled things in a very professional manner, right? And I admire him for that. I learned several things actually. Um, there was a couple conversations we had. One of them, I still remember like it was yesterday. We discussed physical education at the Paramount High School, and from my experience as a substitute teacher there, um, to be honest, physical education is taken lightly. It's overseeing. It's not taking. It's not being. What's the word? Like I said, yeah, they simply oversee it. It's not taken serious. A lot of the kids, they don't listen to teachers. They to the teacher. They don't like to participate. They don't like to sweat. They're not engaged. Most of the time, over this year and the last year, when I got to sub, mostly everything was playing games, playing dodgeball, and as a physical education instructor, that it's saddening because like I said, the subject is really not being taken serious, right? As it should be. One thing um, I was taught in at school for my physical education program, the worst thing as a physical educator is to have your students play dodgeball. Why? Because it can cause injury. It's a harmful game. It's there's certain other things that underlie it, but as a physical education instructor, I would not have my kids play dodgeball for that same reason. And we talked about how some other schools have physical education instructors who don't teach. They don't teach skills, they don't teach about health, they don't teach about longevity. They they simply are somewhat ignorant towards the subject, right? And we we undername them as, or we put them under the category of rolling the ball, which is pretty much you roll the ball and let students play, and at the end of the day they don't learn anything. All they're doing is, yes, you're getting their activity, their physical workout in, but at the end of the day, as an instructor, one must teach. So it was a very it was a very deep conversation, and I hope I hope somehow that there can be a change, or there can be some modifications to really put PE where it should be, because like I said, I think it's being overlooked, really. Um, Moving on, one thing I liked about my observations was the way Mr. Samora helped one specific student who was borderline of being kicked out from the school. Um, so this kid obviously has behavior issues, and like I said, he was being close to getting kicked out. So Samora either had, he could have easily ignored him, pushed him off to the side, and just pretty much what I call giving up on the student. But Mr. Samora is a great person, a great teacher, and he decided to change this kid's life around. And from the semester until now, he's made big improvement. How? Um, Mr. Samora has assigned the specific student certain roles, certain leadership roles, um, and then another strategy that really worked for him was pairing the student up with one of his best behaved slash intelligent student, right? So um, by pairing them up during PE, they um, they created a bond. The student that was about to be kicked out has now learned and adapted certain things, certain aspects that the kid, that the best kid has is doing. So I think it was great for him to pair both of them up, because I think that they're both learning off each other, and sure enough it reflects. And now during lunch these past couple of days, they even hang out together, and this kid has made a tremendous change. And to be honest, I I I, I think that's great for a teacher to do, um, change a student's life around, which is I think why I was put on this world, to help people out, and simply help them become civil members of society. Um, so yeah, I really like that, um, as far as the observation hours. One thing I did dislike was the fact that I had to skip work several times just so I can meet the requirements. And since I'm a substitute teacher, well, there was the only way I was able to make up the hours is by skipping work. So that's one thing I didn't like about the observation hours. But other than that, I think the experience, I enjoyed it, and it really helped me just see different scenarios, different circumstances, and find ways to adapt and simply make modifications in order to maintain a safe and successful environment.